What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle. I run Division I track and field for DePaul University. All right, real quick before the video starts, I just want to ask you guys, subscribe! I'm going to run you guys through my progression from freshman to senior year of high school. All right, so starting off my freshman year, I ran, the first ever race was 2:21. It was on an indoor track. It was at Olivet Nazarene. It's an NAIA school in Illinois. It was a meet that we ran at a lot. We run our first meet of the year, our season opener for track, and we also run our conference meet there. So I ended up running on it a lot. My first race ever, I remember, so I was coming off a basketball season. I ran cross country in the fall. I did basketball, and then after that I did, track obviously. During basketball, I was running in the morning. I would wake up at 5. I would run in the morning, and then I would go to school, and then I would go to basketball practice after school. I remember I was so tired. That was the biggest grind that I've ever had, even now. I mean, actually maybe, I take that back. Maybe second biggest. Now is probably the biggest because now I'm, a college athlete and I got a lot more on my plate. Anyways though, if you're curious, I was pretty bad at basketball because I was always tired because I was waking up so early and running, and it was too much. So my first race, it was a pretty good field, I think. I ran my splits were I went out really fast. I think it was 65, and my second one was I don't know, whatever, you do the math. After the race, I remember crying. I walked over to my parents, I cried. So if you're ever, if you're younger, if you're a freshman, try to understand that it's a process and you're gonna get better. I think that my biggest problem was that I set an expectation for myself. I thought that I was gonna do really good. Everyone always told me that I would be good at the 800. I didn't do it before in middle school, so it was oh yeah, I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be one of the best on the team. I was not. I'll keep it real. 221 is that's not terrible, especially for a freshman, but it was my first race. Not it though. After that, the season went on. I kept running, I kept training, and I slowly got better. I think I ran 2:14 after that. And then indoor conference, I think I ran 210, 209 or something like that. After that, we go outdoors, and really my main event was the 4x8 because I wasn't good enough to run the 800, the open. So I think I was the third or fourth slowest guy in the 4x8, and I was running the second or third leg most of the time. Our best guy was running we weren't that good. Our best guy was running 203, 204, and then we had another guy right there, and then there was another guy back with me running right under 210. So my last race, my PR ended up being a 206. It was a 206. It was at our sectional meet. I was lucky enough to make the team to run at that sectional meet. That was the only race I ended up doing. Third in the race, we were one spot off qualifying for state. That's how you qualify in Illinois. There's 2 qualifying spots, and then there's also a time qualifier. So if 4 teams hit the time qualifier, then they all go. But if no one hits it, then those first 2 teams go. All right, moving on. My sophomore year. This is the year where I really, kind of locked in and I got a lot better. I didn't play basketball in the winter, so that whole winter I trained with my teammates. I think I opened my season in I opened my season with the PR. I think I ran a 205 or a 204 at my first race. And it's your first race, it's a rust buster. It was probably pretty slow. I ran in the 4x8. I think that same meet at Olivet again, I ran the 4x8 in the mile. I ran 4:42 in the mile, which is a huge PR. I ran 4:50 my freshman year, 4:52, and that was a one-off race where I ran pretty good. So that was, and then we also had it's called Illinois Top Times. It's our state championship. It's not regulated by the IHSA program or the board. So not all the teams go and you have to pay to go there. It's a third-party organization. So I ran the 4x8 and I ran 2 flat. I can't even tell you how many times I ran 2 flat. I ran 2 flat. There's a big meet called Batavia in Illinois. It's Batavia Distance Madness, a really big meet. There's a lot of good competition. I ran 2 flat there when I ran the 8. And then at that, my split, I ran 2 flat again. So fast forward to outdoor, the Hinsdale Central Invitational. I'm running against some crazy people. There's this dude named Danny Watkey. He was committed to Oregon and then he goes to Villanova now. He was really, really good. He ended up running 150 in that race by himself. So, I'm getting pulled along, everyone's getting pulled along. And that race was also Liam Newhart. He goes to Wisconsin. So this was a pretty stacked meet. So I think one of my friends ran 158 in the slow heat. He won the race by 5 seconds, shout out Devin. Then I ended up running 159.2, which was bittersweet for me. I thought I could run faster, and also Devin ran faster than me in the slower heat. So it was yeah, come on. Fast forward to state that year and sectionals. I didn't qualify in the open 8. I just missed it. I ran a qualifying split in the 4x8 earlier, I don't know, an hour earlier. It's a pretty tough double though, especially when I was younger. It was, harder for me because I wasn't as strong and my training probably wasn't as good. So I barely missed it. I think I ran 2 flat, and the qualifying time was 1:59, which is way better now. It's track position's crazy. Anyways, fast forward to state, I ran 1:59. I think I ran 1:59 mid. My split. At state, the splits are actually like good. The splits are good. They get them officially. You get a bib on the front and the bib on the back, and then you also get a number. So they time them for everyone, and it's good. I know that splits don't count, but almost all of my times are splits because we ran the 4x8 a lot in high school. All right, next up, my junior year. My junior year was another pretty big year. I didn't really show that I was going to improve as early on. I ran 2 flat my first race. Again, Olivet, 4x8, and then we went to Illinois top times again. If you see, there's we get the same schedule every year, and there's some trends at the meets where I run faster, the meets where I ran a little bit slower. So at Olivet for the first meet, I opened in 2 flat, and then I ran the 800 again, and I ran 2 flat. I won the race, which was cool. And then, so my fastest race that year ended up being, again, at Olivet. It was our indoor conference meet, the SWSC indoor conference meet. It's like, again, so the indoor stuff isn't sanctioned by IHSA, so it wasn't an official conference meet, but it's basically official. I ran 1:58.9, barely under, 1:58.92, in a race where, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys went under 2, and I think 4 people beat me. I got 5th, so it was a big race. It was pretty stacked, and that was a big one for me. It was nice to PR indoor. It was, especially in the open 8, all the glory for myself. It was big. Then at Illinois top times, I did not end up running my best, I'll be honest. I ran 1:59 in the 4x8, and we got 2nd, which was really cool. We set a indoor school record as well. We set a lot of school records in the 4x8, which was really cool to be a part of, and I think it made me better in so many ways. It made me run for a team, and I had such good teammates, and I was able to work off them in practice, and we all got better. We didn't really have anyone on the team that was like miles in front of each other. We didn't have a crazy talent. So we ended up getting better together, and it made us all better for sure. So then I also ran the 800, and it was not good. If you've ever run, so the 4x8 and then the 8 back-to-back, it was like 45 minutes. Hardest double I've ever done, right there. I ran 2 flat high. It was bad, I'm not gonna lie. But it was good experience. There was really good people in the race. Trey Sato, he goes to U of I. He ran, I think he broke the Illinois top times record, which is, it's a pretty storied meet. I think he ran 150 there. Good experience, but not the race I wanted. Outdoor I didn't PR until our sectional meet, or no, I PR'd at our conference meet. I ran 157, and then at our sectional meet, I ran 157 again, just a little bit lower. And then we go to state, we ran the 4x8. So we always run the 4x8, and I was running the 8, and I was also running the 4x4. At sectionals, we were lucky enough to qualify in all 3 events I ran. So at state, I ran the 4x8, the 8, and then I dropped the 4x4, so I didn't run the 4x4. So, event out of the way, and then I also ended up dropping my open 8 because my district, no one had ever medaled in the 4x8. So we figured that we had the best chance to medal in the 4x8. It was me, one of my other buddies was running in another event, a solo event, and then the other 2 guys didn't have an event. So we ran the 4x8 in the prelims, and we both scratched our other events. He scratched the mile, I scratched my 8, just to give us the best chance, and it ended up being good. I think I ran, so we got rain delayed, which is, messes with your mind. Some people ran better, some people ran worse. I ran 158 in the prelim, and we got through, pretty seamlessly. So we run that, we run the final, and we got 5th, that was big for us, our first all-state performance. I ran 156, 156.1, and that was a big jump for me. I think I always wanted to run faster. Every single time I ran better, I always thought I could do. So if I ran 156, it's like, oh, why didn't I run 155? 155, why didn't I run 154? If I would have done this or this or this, I would have ran faster. If I could ever go back and do it again, I would just sit back and take it all in and say, I'm happy with what I did. And that's why I'm a lot better at doing that now, but back then it was a lot harder. Finally, my senior year was definitely the toughest year of running for me. And the cross country was not good. I got injured. I was injured the entire season. At the start of the season, our first week of practice, I got a really bad strain on my quad running up a hill. We were doing hill sprints, and me and one of my friends were racing the last rep. Not a good look. I kept running on it. I wasn't doing workouts, but I was still running on it, and I developed some really bad Achilles tendonitis. Because of that, I started rolling to the outside of my foot, and I stress fractured my 4th metatarsal, which is so if this is your foot, your 4th metatarsal is right here. It's at the base, kind of. So, and we didn't even figure that out till the end of the season. My conference meet for cross country, I ran conference, didn't run regionals. So I took the week of training for regionals off. I didn't run regionals. I took that next week off before sectionals. I ran sectionals, I ran bad. Don't get me wrong. My training was pretty bad because I was biking the whole time. I didn't know what I was doing. And then also when I would jump back in the workouts, they were taper workouts anyways, so I wasn't really getting that much from them. Fast forward then, after sectionals, I was able to do a little bit of workouts, but I was still biking most of the time. State, my worst race ever. I ran faster my sophomore year. I think I ran 17:30 for 3 miles. I mean, my foot was broken and I slipped and I got spiked. 231st out of 235 people at state. So it was a tough day, I'm not gonna lie. But it was good for the experience. I have good memories from that. All my teammates ran good. One of the boys got all state, which is great. I think we could have ran a lot better as a team if I was there and I was healthy. And that's something I kind of just got to live with now and move on from. But I put the effort out there, and I think I showed a lot of people that I'm doing it for the team, and it's more than just me. I think it was really beneficial to be a part of something bigger than myself, for real. So then, I cross-trained the entire off season. I was swimming and biking, and I started lifting too. I was doing, session in the morning, session in the afternoon. It was mostly swimming. I got a membership at LA Fitness. I looked up workouts on triathlon.net or something, and I was doing those, hour plus swims, hour plus bikes. It was hard. Yeah, but it reinforced me that I really like to run because I don't love swimming, I don't love biking, but I was willing to do it to be able to keep my fitness and, even gain some fitness from running. It showed me that cross training is actually a supplement. Like now, my coach likes us to cross train. We're not running all the time. We're doing a little bit of we run, 75% of our mileage is running and the other bit is biking or swimming or something like that, arc training, so yeah. So, the actual season, I opened up, I ran 2 flat at that Olivet meet. I ran 2 flat, and then I ran the 800, I ran 201. Not great, I wasn't that happy, but it was something. I was grateful to be running. I wasn't even thinking about the time really, and that was something that I had to reinforce the entire season. I did not end up PRing until state, not once. I ran 157 at Illinois Top Times. I ran the 800, and then, I ran the 4x8. And then I was supposed to run the mile, but I actually strained my hip flexor a little bit the week before, so I didn't even work out that week. And I just did some really slow, easy runs. And I had prior knowledge of what can happen off of that, so I took it easy. I skipped out on running the mile to make sure I was good. Then we go to outdoor. I ran a big meet in Illinois, Dickinson Palatine, actually in the whole Midwest. Ran that meet. I was in the fastest heat, championship heat. I think I got second to last. I ran 158. It was kind of cold, but the conditions were really good and the race was really fast. The competition was crazy. It wasn't great. And I remember my parents came up to me after the race and they told me, you didn't run great, but you're just happy to be out there. And I was like, I'm tired of being happy to be out there. Not because I wasn't happy to be out there, but because I wasn't running good, and that's what people were telling me after. And then, conference, I only ran the 800, I ran 157. I ran sectionals, our sectional was it was a hard sectional, but the weather was terrible. So we qualify in the 4x8, we win, whatever. We were pretty good at the 4x8. Then we run the 8. If 100 people are projected to qualify, 60% of those people will actually qualify in a normal sectional. In our sectional, I think it was something like 30% of people qualified. It was a bloodbath, I'm not gonna lie. It was raining, the track was wet, the weather was bad, it was windy. But I was lucky enough, I qualified to the 800, I ran 157, then I ran a 4x4, we missed out. I gave it my all, but it just wasn't there that year. We go to state, I dropped my 800 again because we were in contention to win. We didn't end up winning, I'll tell you right now. But what we did do was, in the prelim, I ran 156. Then we go to the final. Crazy race, crazy nerves, crazy experience. It was, once in a lifetime. We ended up getting second to Downers Grove North. They ended up winning nationals. They win every year. They set a new state record. We ran 740 and I ran 154.6. That was it was all worth it. But once again, I'm not gonna, after the race, it was 153. I remember I put up there was a paper on my door frame was here. And there was a paper up here. I would look at it every morning. On my sheet, I had 153/152. So it's always bittersweet. I've always been super competitive, so nothing's ever enough. It never will be. But I was able to come back from something that most people can't come back from. And I was just grateful to be a part of something that team is, I'll remember that forever. Those are my best friends. Yeah, that's my story. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. You are awesome. Hopefully this video gave you a little bit of insight into my high school career and my progression throughout that time. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.